Here at WMFE, we've heard from a couple of listeners who draw comparisons between the demonstrations we're seeing now and the demonstrations that they took part in and witnessed in the 1960s. What do you make of that comparison, Dr. Smaw?
Okay, so I want to do two things with respect to the comparison of the demonstrations now and the demonstrations from the 1960s. The first is the protesters have been keen to draw a distinction between themselves and the people who have caused property damage. And then, of course, news outlets have reported that there are outside people coming into the protest and causing property damage. We saw that same tactic with the civil rights movement. There were people who attempted to infiltrate Dr. King's civil rights movement and then cause property damage for the purpose of denigrating the movement. So that's the first comparison that I want to draw. The second comparison that I want to draw is that there's nothing new about people who don't have democratic outlets for change or whose politicians have ignored them for years engaging in protest. And some of our most celebrated protests, we find that the protest often leads to property damage. Mm-hmm. The Boston Tea Party is a story about property damage. When we look at the Hong Kong protesters, we find that there's been over $600 million in property damage. And so although the protesters today aren't engaged in that, there are people from the outside coming in, if people aren't paid attention to or if they don't have democratic means for making change, you will see their anger and frustration spill over into property damage.